Right now, you can survive winter without thinking about it. You turn up the heating, pull on a coat, and the cold just stays outside. Now take all of that away. No heating, no shop to buy a coat, nothing. Drop yourself into an ice age winter, where the temperature could fall to 40 below, and ice sheets buried whole countries. This was the Ice Age, when the planet stayed locked in cold for thousands of years, and a single winter could feel endless. By every rule of biology, that cold should have killed your ancestors. Soft skin, no fur, bodies built for the warm plains of Africa. And yet, here you are. Which means they did not just survive those winters. They beat them. So how? How did a fragile, furless ape live through winters that should have wiped it out? The answer is not one thing. It is a stack of clever inventions, and you still use every single one of them today. Let us start with the one that changed everything. Fire. Long before the ice came, humans had learned to tame it, and in the cold, fire became a lifeline. A fire is heat you can carry with you, a glowing center of warmth in a frozen world. Around it, you could thaw frozen hands, dry soaked furs, cook tough meat soft, and hold the darkness back. Fire even sharpened their hunting. They used it to harden wooden spears into deadly points. But a fire in winter has one terrifying weakness. It can go out. And in deep cold, with everything damp, relighting one from scratch could be the difference between life and death. So one of the most precious jobs in an Ice Age camp may have been simply this: keep the fire alive. People likely carried embers from camp to camp, nursed through the night, never allowed to die. Scientists still argue over how often our ancestors made fire from scratch versus carefully kept it going. But by the Ice Age, one thing is clear. Humans were masters of the flame. Fire brought warmth, but fire alone cannot keep you alive the moment you step away from it. For that, our ancestors invented something you are almost certainly wearing right now: clothes. Not loose skins thrown over a shoulder, but fitted, sewn, tailored clothing. It sounds simple. It was revolutionary. A loose hide blocks some wind. But cold air still pours in at every gap. A garment that actually fits traps a thin layer of warm air against your skin and holds it there. Your own body heat kept close. Layer-fitted fur over fitted hide, and a human could walk out into killing cold and stay warm. Under those layers, a person became a walking pocket of summer in the middle of winter. The key to all of it was a tiny, brilliant tool: the eye of a needle. A needle with a hole let you pull sinew through hide and stitch flat pieces into a shape that fit a body. Eyed needles begin showing up in the record around 40,000 years ago. And there are hints people were already making fitted garments even earlier, punching holes with sharp bone tools. Think about that. The hoodie, the coat, the layers you pull on without a thought. All of it begins with an Ice Age tailor and a needle made of bone. Fire warmed the camp. Clothing warmed the body. Next, they had to warm the night. The simplest shelter was already there: a cave. It blocks the wind, holds a little heat, and gives a fire a home. But caves are rare, and rarely where the food is. So out on the open frozen plains, humans built their own. And here is one of the most astonishing things our ancestors ever made. In what is now Ukraine, at a site called Mezhyrich, archaeologists found huts built almost entirely out of mammoth bones. A single dwelling could use the bones of dozens of mammoths, around 150 of them, slotted together into a dome. Skulls for the base, jawbones interlocked, tusks arching over the doorway. The whole thing then covered in hides. These were not quick overnight shelters. They were heavy, deliberate, built to outlast a brutal winter, around 15,000 years ago. Imagine the work: hauling mammoth skulls across frozen ground to raise a home that could beat the cold. Fire, clothing, shelter. Our ancestors had built themselves a bubble of warmth inside a frozen world. But warmth burns energy, and in the cold, your body burns it fast. To survive a winter, you do not just need to stay warm, you need to eat, and eat a lot. And in the Ice Age, the most valuable thing on the menu was not meat. It was fat. Fat is pure, dense energy, the fuel that keeps a body running and warm when the world is freezing. So our ancestors hunted the giants of the Ice Age: mammoth, reindeer, horse, and bison. A single mammoth was a moving warehouse, meat and fat to eat, hide to wear, bones to build with, fuel to burn. They cracked open bones for the rich marrow inside, packed with exactly the fat a cold body craved. And they stayed flexible. When big game was scarce, they took fish, birds, and whatever the frozen land would give. The cold itself even became a tool. Freezing ground turned into a giant, natural freezer. Surplus meat could be frozen and stored, buried in caches to bridge the long, hungry middle of winter. But notice something about all of this. No single person could do it. You cannot hunt a mammoth alone. You cannot raise a bone house alone. You cannot keep the fire, sew the clothes, and gather the food, all alone. Survival in the cold was a team sport. A group could share one fire, split the work, and feed the ones who could not hunt. The very old, the very young, the hurt. Cooperation was not a nice extra. In an Ice Age winter, it was survival technology, every bit as vital as the fire itself. That warm circle of people around a winter fire may be one of the oldest, most human things there is. Now, humans were not the only ones facing these winters. Someone else was already out there in the cold, the Neanderthals, and they took a completely different route to survival. For a long stretch of time, both kinds of human shared these frozen lands. While we beat the cold with technology, Neanderthals beat it partly with their bodies. They were shorter, broader, and stockier than us, a build that holds heat far better, like a compact little furnace. Big noses to warm freezing air before it reached the lungs. Bodies sculpted by the cold itself, over thousands of generations. 2 strategies. Change your body, slowly, across the ages. Or change your tools, fast, within a single lifetime. And in the end, the toolmakers spread to every frozen corner of the planet. Technology won. So the next time winter bites and you reach for your coat or turn up the heat, stop for a second. Every piece of it is an inheritance. The fire in your stove, the fitted clothes on your back, the solid walls around you, the full fridge in the corner. Every one of those is a solution your ancestors invented, in the dark, in the cold, with frozen fingers and almost nothing. They were a furless, fragile ape that, by all rights, should have frozen. Instead, they outthought the Ice Age. We did not survive the cold because we were strong. We survived because we were clever and because we did it together. You are here, warm, reading this, because they refused to freeze. If you like having your everyday questions answered like this channel does one every single day. Subscribe and stay curious.